So, it's finally happening! The world is saying goodbye to cash! Sweden is actually the first country that's going basically cashless in 2023. And according to research, such countries as China, Norway, the Netherlands, Finland, and the UK, they're all following suit. Looks like in the near future, if someone offers you a cash transaction, you'll react like when someone is insisting on paying in bitcoins. The transaction itself is perfectly legal, but the reason for it probably isn't. So, cash! You're not cool anymore! But before we dump you for new, slick digital money, let us first remember the good things. We've been through a lot together. We've had some fun, and incidentally, built the world as we know it. In this video, we will uncover some fascinating facts about how money is made. Literally. How is cash produced? How has it advanced technologically to deal with wearing out and counterfeiting? And finally, what are the perspectives of the cashless world? Let's go find out! Now, if we look at history, it's actually easier to list the things that weren't used as money than the things that were. Stones, different metals, shells, beads, leather, paper, cattle, actual human noses. Yes, that's right. In the 9th century AD, when the Danes conquered Ireland, if an Irishman was unable to pay the new taxes in cash, he could pay by having his nose chopped off. And that's in fact where the phrase paid through the nose comes from. So just live with that image there for just a moment. Anywho, paper actually wasn't the first most obvious choice. In fact, if you check out my previous video about the evolution of money, you will learn, among other really cool things, how the first paper money was actually just promissory notes, which allowed you to get back the coins that you had deposited into the bank earlier. In the Western world, the first person to introduce a state-issued banknote in 1658 was Johann Holmstruck, and the country in question was, of course, Sweden. Kinda explains why the Swedes got tired of paper money in the first place. They've had it longer than anyone else. Anyway, at the time, paper money really wasn't seen as a great idea, but as history has proven, Johann Holmstruck was right on the nose. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Modern paper money has actually come quite a long way in terms of technology to perfect its two main features. It has to be durable and impossible to fake. So, how does the modern banknote, like say for instance the US dollar, accomplish this? So why does paper money have to be durable? Well, a $20 bill changes hands about 75 times a year, and a $1 bill over 100 times. And after all of that touching, you still have to be able to experience the reproachful stare of George Washington. He looks at me as if he knows that I didn't vote. Relax, my dude. And by the way, always wash your hands after using cash, because money is very, very dirty. I'm not a communist. I mean, it's just physically dirty. Way dirtier than a toilet seat, and about as dirty as Donald Trump's browser history. I mean, 90% of it contains traces of cocaine. I mean, the banknotes, specifically, of course. Donald Trump's browser history contains much, much more than that. But anyway, banknotes are actually quite durable, though not nearly as durable as coins. Naturally, the average lifespan of a coin is 30 years, but it's 9 years for a $100 bill, only 4 years for a $20 bill, and just 18 months for $1. After that, the bills are shredded, recycled, and made into stuff like fireplace logs, for example. So technically, the last time you were sitting at a fireplace, you might have been burning hundreds of $100 bills. And perhaps you still think that a Hollywood mafioso lighting a cigar for a single banknote is the definition of a badass. So, what makes paper money durable? Well, the first thing that helps with that is the fact that it's actually not technically made of paper. Paper is usually made of wood pulp, while the material for Federal Reserve notes is a blend of 25% linen and 75% cotton. Just like my sheets. Just kidding. It's produced by one company, Crane Currency, in Dalton, Massachusetts, and nothing but money is made from this secret blend. Now, you're probably thinking, why doesn't ink get washed off from all of the changing of hands? Well, apart from using magnetic ink, there's also a thing called intaglio printing, which means that the ink is actually sort of carved into the surface. A bit like a tattoo. And what about the most important feature of money? It's authenticity. Well, that's where the most impressive progress has actually been made. Counterfeiting money has a really long history, but in a way, this activity really hasn't changed much since the beginning all the way up until now. For example, one of the first known counterfeiters was actually a man called Alexander the Barber, and he lived in the 5th century Byzantium. One of the more notable modern counterfeiters, Frank Abagnale, operated in the 1960s. In fact, he was famously played by Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie Catch Me If You Can. Perhaps you've seen it. This movie is only 21 years old. I mean, Leo could still go on a date with it. But anyway, both Alexander the Barber and Frank Abagnale were so good that after the arrest, they got the same horrible punishment. They got a job from the government, catching other counterfeiters. And they say that it's hard to find a respectable job after prison. In the USA, counterfeiting of paper money has always been a huge problem. In fact, at the end of the Civil War, by some estimates, approximately 50% of all money in the country was fake. This was actually the reason that the US Congress created the Secret Services. So what features have been developed to fight counterfeiters? Well, to start with, there are actually security features that you and I can check for ourselves. As Tim Crane, the 6th-generation owner of the Crane Currency Company, once said, "Currency is kind of like pizza. The paper is the crust, and then you just add all the toppings." Well, let's look at the most advanced Federal Reserve bill, the $100 bill. Firstly, the ink changes color when you turn the banknote in the light. Secondly, there's this fantastic 3D security ribbon in the middle, which is made of thousands of micro lenses, which display little hundreds and bells, a reference to the Liberty Bell, of course. And thirdly, there's a watermark of Ben Franklin's beautiful face, the one which the cashier is always looking for when holding the note up. You know, when you try to buy something at the jeweler without having shaved and wearing a baseball hat and sweatpants. Also, there's raised printing. In fact, if you touch Ben Franklin's right shoulder, he'll start smoking a cigar. All right, I made that up, it's not true. But the shoulder should have a special rough feel. Also, there are security features which can be checked with special equipment, like the security thread that glows pink under UV light and microprinting that says the United States of America on Ben Franklin's collar. And of course, if anyone tries to print money on any photocopier or printing device, it will simply refuse to do it, or even shut down due to special sensors restricting it from such illegal activity. All right, I'll give you 1 minute while you make a run to your printer and check. Indeed, you believe me now? Of course you do. So to sum up, we're breaking up with cash, and it seems inevitable, but let's get some perspective. I mean, yes, cash takes up space, and it's slow, and it's messy, and we can't wait to go digital. But consider this. It took hundreds of years of technological progress to make cash as convenient, durable, and difficult to forge as it is now. Today, even the most exquisitely crafted super dollars are recognized, and the most genius counterfeiters are caught. Cash has come a long way, and while digital money has undoubted benefits, it also has its own inherent issues like invasion of privacy, data breaches, technical problems, hackers, Skynet, Terminators, you name it! We're just at the start of another long way, where we will face new problems and we'll have to find new solutions for them. Or we can just wait until the Swedes do it. That's easier, I guess. My point is, it will have to happen, inevitably. And whoever exactly does it, well, it's no skin off my nose. I'm sorry, I had to do it again. Anyway, that's it for me today. But don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll meet again very soon. Farewell.